It was 1948, and Earl Tupper was a frustrated man. He had invented a brilliant alternative to the heavy ceramic dishware that Americans were used to. His Wonder Bowl was lightweight, durable, and airtight. It had won design awards, and he'd gotten into department stores and hardware stores, the places where Americans shopped for dishwares in 1948. Yet no one was buying. What was wrong with Earl's wonderful idea? Compared to a lot of modern startups, he was already a huge success. Not only did he have a great product, a high-quality manufacturing process, but he had retail distribution. Yet nobody was buying. What was Earl doing wrong? Before we can answer those questions, let me ask you guys, why is contour cameras completely out of business while GoPro absolutely dominates the action camera market? Why is no one in this room using Everpix to organize and store their family photos? And why does none of us here know what letsbuyit.com was, but we know exactly what a Groupon is? Allow me to introduce to you the graveyard of good ideas. All of the products I just mentioned were brilliant ideas, good ideas. They should have succeeded. The founders got together, rallied around an idea, raised a bit of money, brought a product to market. None of those things is easy to do. We all know how hard it is to get funded, how hard it is to convince investors that your idea is the one that will break through. And the competition gets fiercer every day. Every day, new would-be entrepreneurs graduate from universities all around the world. In the United States alone, there are now more than 9,000 professors teaching entrepreneurship, according to the Kauffman Foundation, and more than 500 startup and innovation centers at universities across the United States. So, if you get one person other than yourself to get behind your idea, you're doing pretty good. And yet most innovation fails. Smart, motivated, ambitious people raise some money, get together, build a product, bring it to market, and still ends up right there. The graveyard of good ideas. Good data on the success rates of startups is incredibly hard to come by, but I think we can all agree failure is the most likely outcome. Because, let's be honest, it's incredibly difficult to sell the world a new idea. Even penicillin effectively failed many times. Clicker's not working? Thank you. Sir, you're in the line of sight for the clicker. Thank you. Even penicillin failed many times before it succeeded. Contrary to popular belief, penicillin wasn't discovered by Alexander Fleming in 1928. The antibiotic effects of penicillin had been discovered multiple times before Fleming's accidental rediscovery in the basement of St. Mary's Hospital of London in September of 1928. So, if penicillin, which is credited with saving more than 100 million lives during the 20th century, didn't immediately go viral, what fucking hope is there for your idea? And yet, some innovations do succeed. How do they do it? What secret do successful innovators know the rest of us don't? Dropbox succeeded after a tragically unsuccessful pay-per-click campaign. The Dropbox team switched gears, left online marketing so-called best practices, and innovated a two-sided referral system that immediately went viral and has been copied by every startup known to man since. Netflix succeeded. After struggling through the recession of 2001, the inclusion of free Netflix coupons in the holiday gift of the season, the $99 DVD player, Netflix trajectory radically changed. What the stories of successful innovation have in common is something that Marshall McLuhan noted back in 1964. The medium is the message. The way your customers find out about your product is actually part of your product. The way your customers get access to your product is actually part of your product. The context within which your customers experience your product is actually part and parcel of your product. McLuhan explained it like this. Imagine yourself, you and your best friend, at a local bar here in Berlin. You're drinking a delicious German beer from Bavaria, and your best friend turns to you and says, "Did you hear that crime is up in Berlin?" You look at him, you shrug your shoulders, you finish your beer. Now imagine yourself at home with your spouse, your German average 1.43 children, huddle around the dinner table watching RTL Klub. The announcer says, crime is up in Berlin. Feels different now. Feels more personal, feels more intimate. Why? Because the medium matters. And it's not enough. It's not enough to have an innovative product, as incredibly difficult as that is. In fact, the more innovative your product, the more innovative your medium, your channel has to be. Just because you built it doesn't mean they'll come. Because true innovation, the fact is we all have to face up to this, true innovation does a violence to our customers. It causes fear and anxiety as they ask themselves, what is this new thing? Why haven't I seen it before? Are you saying I'm stupid? So if you have a very disruptive idea, you'll end up in a graveyard of good ideas unless you actively manufacture the context which resolves those fears, which helps customers understand why your innovation belongs in their life. So how do we do this? Focusing on product development is a common yet fatal startup mistake. It's focusing only on the message, ignoring the medium. Fatal mistake. The way you manufacture the appropriate context to sell innovation is by co-evolving the medium, the message, the product and its context, allowing them to shape each other to build an organic success. It worked for Tupperware. Remember Earl Tupper? Remember how frustrated he was? Earl's invention was pretty cool, but it didn't find its way into millions of kitchens until he met a woman named Brownie Wise. Brownie told Earl she was selling tons and tons of Tupperware by inviting her friends over to her house and showing them how to use it. Tupperware didn't become a household name until Brownie Wise invented the Tupperware party. Today, we'd call Brownie Wise a growth hacker. Because the hockey stick growth that you're all looking for, I believe, only comes from exploiting new mediums. So how do we best think about new mediums? I believe we have to find one, you have to experiment to find one, you have to experiment to create one, or perhaps you can hijack one. And they model a predictable 5-point sequence. Stage 0, the next big thing, the hype thing. This could be AI now. This could be VR, AR, drones, wearable technology, driverless cars. Something is being hyped, something is being talked about. Most of those things tend to stay hyped. But sometimes they break through to stage 1, the wild, wild west. This is when people are connecting with each other in new and interesting ways. Think about Facebook 2009. This is where growth hackers enter the picture. Stage 2, the hockey stick. One entity emerges and repeatedly harvests the fruits of these interactions. 2009, in Facebook, we can think of Zynga. Zynga had nonlinear explosive growth on the back of things like Farmville and other games. This is now an uncontested marketing channel, but not for long, because then you get to stage 3, the tragedy of the commons. Multiple actors now converge on the same medium. Growth slows. Growth becomes more expensive. User experience often suffers. So this is the myriad of Zynga clones that emerged on Facebook 2010. The medium actually begins to suffer and is in danger, which then leads us to the last stage, governance and civilization. Sheriff Zuckerberg comes to town. Sheriff Zuckerberg comes to town and lays down the law, the rules and regulations. Now growth now is slow, expensive, and very linear. The growth hackers have exited the building. Think of Facebook's continued updates to its newsfeed algorithm. I believe that great innovators naturally understand the medium as the message, which is why in the United States, if you want to buy an electric car for a fixed price, you go to a beautiful temple of technology called the Tesla showroom, and you don't go to a sprawling dealership. Last year, Chinese smartphone manufacturer Xiaomi sold 150,000 units of its flagship device in 10 minutes. Another Chinese smartphone manufacturer, Huawei, sold 500,000 units in about the same time, using only a chat app favored by Chinese teenagers. It's as if Samsung had sold millions of devices using only Twitter. So, consider yourself warned. This may sound like something you can farm out to marketing experts. You can't. The medium is the message. The context and the product are one and the same. Especially if you have an innovative idea, the more innovative your idea, the more innovative a medium you need to get to your customers. So, experiment aggressively. Look for new and novel behaviors on new and novel platforms. And I hope you find that one medium that makes your message as powerful as you want it to be. Thank you.
We've got time for a couple of questions. So, anybody got any questions?
Europeans hate questions.
Okay, I'm going to ask a question then. What do you think then right now for, let's say VR or driverless cars? I mean, pick a innovative medium that you think is going to be next.
So I actually believe VR is going to happen. The technology is almost there. The project I'm working on has a lot of implications. VR as a medium is crying out for innovative messages. Actually, people are trying to figure out how to do music, how to do movies, how to do games. Right? You're seeing a lot of aggressive experimentation, and the people who figure this out, the people who get on board early, are going to make a lot of money. So I'm actually very excited about VR and AR. I think again the hardware's there. I think the software almost. Driverless cars, I hope come very soon. But I don't know if it's going to be 5 years, 10 or 20. But we're going to see driverless cars basically reshape cityscapes.
But then you've got to worry for taxi drivers' jobs.
Correct. You got to find them jobs too.
Okay, Patrick, thanks very much, and great talk.